So here we are again. I'm watching Street Outlaws. And, being a drag racer my whole life I was a drag racer. Cars and bikes, mostly bikes. And it was like I lived and breathed that shit. That and airplanes. Those two things consumed me. Flying and acceleration. G-forces, I guess, in general. And I know a good product when I see one. Okay? When in the beginning, the NHRA was exciting, it was fun, it was mysterious. It was fucking mysterious. You had no idea what Don Garlits was going to bring to the track that weekend. No idea. It could be anything. Okay? Cockpit, small wheels, engine front, rear. He was such an innovator, Don Perdome using mercury around the rim of his tires to balance his tires. Not many people know that he did that. There was innovation back then, and it was allowed because the fastest car won. They weren't regulated into a certain fucking class where lane choice has become predominantly, a winner or a killer in the NHRA because the cars are so close. Okay? You can only do so much magic with a clutch, and that is where, unfortunately, that is where all the magic in drag racing and the NHRA lives, is in that fucking clutch housing. We all know it. It's not the power, it's not the motor, it's not the tires, not even the fucking driver. I can tell you that once you've made a bunch of passes at a set time, you know what I mean? It's exciting and it's fun, but it's not scary anymore. You're wondering what's wrong with my car. You run your fastest pass ever on your bike, and you're like, what did I break? What's wrong? What is why is it laying over at the top? Street Outlaws has that that sensation, that feeling, that fun, that mix of personality and fuel, you know what I mean? And it shows you more than just, okay, it's the clutch pack. The problem is right now with street racing, as you can see, now I want you to notice how much it really does matter when you have a faster car than everyone else. When you look at Ryan Martin dominating, the only time he has trouble is when his car gets out of shape or whatever, and then again, it's lane choice because they're not prepping as much, even though they are still prepping. Okay, there's still rubber laid down. It's just, there's so many, people are like, well, now they're running this same turbo. Well, they're doing that because they're faster, but they're not running the same engine block. They're not running the same exact everything. And, the cars look different. They're not just a different paint job, but they actually look different. And that is top end. That's we're talking. We're just shy of pro stock there. Way shy of pro mod. Kind of in this weird area where it's not a street car. That's for sure. They shouldn't call it Street Outlaws. They can call it No Prep Kings, and that's okay because that's what they do. But it's personal. It's fun. You have a few people you can root for, and you're not just rooting for a sponsor. Okay? If I think the show would be ruined and everyone would be turned off if Ryan Martin showed up with 4 cars next year, all like his. Right? Or there's only, instead of having 30 drivers that are all on their own, budgets, you have this guy come out that's got 6 spare bullets in his truck. It's different. It's just not fun anymore with the NHRA. This year, I think I'm honestly, I think I watched part of one race. I watched the finals. I sped through, fast forward, just to watch the finals. When Brittany was out, that was it. I was done. I don't know what can save the NHRA other than the X class that I keep talking about, where you have, let the pro mod cars go do their own thing. See, the pro mod is afraid they can't survive without being mixed in with Top Fuel, because for the TV money and the sponsorships. That's truly what it is. They shouldn't be there with the Top Fuel cars. And motorcycles, okay, it makes me sick to my stomach to hear him say that Harley Davidson Top Fuel, you got Top Fuel shit. You know what I mean? Every one of those guys would get their fucking asses handed to them if they went down to Australia. If they went to Santa Pod, they'd get their ass handed to them. They went over to Europe anywhere. They need 30 bikes to show up that are all, different looks, completely different. You know what I mean? Yeah, some guys are going to run big V twins, and other guys are going to run inline fours. Some are going to be forwards, backwards, sideways. You never know what you're going to get. They're all designed slightly differently. And they're exciting to watch. You have to understand that guy, he's accelerating with a Top Fuel car, and a helmet is what he has for protection. If something goes wrong, it goes wrong in a big way. I don't know. I don't see much. I mean, you're talking about a lifelong fan and a devoted player in the game, and I'm not interested in watching NHRA anymore. So that's bad, and they know it's bad. They know they have a problem. They can't figure their way out of it because they think that regulation and trying to make close racing is the key, and it's not the fucking key. NASCAR, you're making the same fucking mistake, okay? When I was young, I watched Petty and people like that win races by 2 laps. By 2 laps. They'd win by 2 laps. It didn't have to be a photo finish. Didn't have to fucking be a photo finish. Are you hearing me? Are you hearing me, NASCAR? That's why you have all these fucking wrecks and shit. The cars never get spread out. See, you think that's stimulating competition, and it is not. Okay? If you bring the car there and you're beating people by 2 laps, then that's how it fucking goes. I guess you better be more prepared next weekend. And that's just how it is, and that's what I feel like I'm getting here with no Prep Kings. It needs to be opened up. NASCAR needs to quit with the fucking trying to run 30 cars door to door, side to side, because I don't think it's good for the sport. I think that people understand how little their driver is making a difference because they're all good. I think they understand that so much of it is set up and position and just fortuitous fucking luck. You know what I mean? The whole regulation thing, trying to make the cars run as close together as possible, has fucked everything up. Oh, we got a competition yellow. The first time I saw that, that was it for me. Me and NASCAR went 2 different directions. As soon as I said, well, why are they fucking stopping the race? Oh, it's to pack them back up again. I'm like, wait a minute, this motherfucker earned his 50 car fucking length lead. Why are they taking that away from him? You think the crowd wants that? The people that are rooting for that guy? You just fucked every one of those guys. I think they just regulated themselves into a fucking hole. and trying to make every car look the same and to be the same. I think they just fucked themselves, and they just regulated and regulated and regulated and regulated until pretty soon all they got this fucking product that's about this big. And unfortunately, NHRA has done the same thing. They've allowed, you got 2 or 3 teams, 4 teams basically that show up with a bunch of fucking cars, and it's going to be between those guys where the money's at. It's not about, do I have another motor? Oh, we'll just put a fresh motor in it. These guys can't do that. I understand that when they go out and make that pass to get data, why they're doing it, and that it's important. That's not a wasted pass. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. I just think that, you can overregulate your racing product into fucking oblivion because the fans start to understand how little of it really is about the driver and what is not. I mean, any kind of racing, boat, plane, car, bike, ATV, snowmobile, whatever the fuck it might be, okay? You want it to be about the driver and the way he set up his rig for himself, okay? It has to weigh this much, okay? It has to have this many cc's, and everything else you have to go through safety. If you can find a way to get more horsepower out of that cc's than this guy right here, but you can still be reliable and run a 20-lap race, everybody comes out of the gun looking good, you know what I mean? We all leave the starting line, looking good. So, and that's what racing is about. How much are you willing to push that car? See? And if you just got spare motors fucking laying around, right? And a guy who does nothing but clutches doing your clutch, I don't know. I just see it as not exciting. I would rather go back and watch, the snake and the mongoose race each other. There was more excitement and more fun and more rooting. People, you rooted for one or the other, you know what I mean? And again, every car was different. I saw cars show up that had double motors, 2 motors. And there were cars running in classes there that had 4 motors, a motor for each wheel. You just saw the most crazy, insane shit. And, as long as your car passes safety, you should be able to run that car no matter what the design is. You come to a top fuel race and your car looks completely different than every other car. They shouldn't say, oh, well, you can't do that because you don't look like this car. Yeah, but I found out that this design goes faster. See, you eliminate all imagination, all growth, all experimentation. Okay, my driver lost, but what are they going to do next week? Are they going to change the way their car is set up? Are they going to, and it's not a regimented by NASCAR setup. See? It's a regimented by, this is what we need to do, because if we make a certain weight and we have a certain size engine, everything else about how high the car is, skirts, spoilers, whatever the fuck you want to do, you should be able to do that. If it's faster, then other people are going to emulate you, and you'll just have to find another way to be faster. And that's what makes the race exciting, because everyone has a chance. If you're the 28th fastest guy in NASCAR, you're not going to win a fucking race unless those guys in front of you with more money and more car lose out. You know that, I know that, and they know that. Because they can't live within the rules money-wise like some of the other teams can. And Formula One finally got wise and decided, okay, we're going to make cars that the other driver can get up behind the leader and follow him around without ruining his tires. We're going to give them a chance to pass besides having, the DRS zones. And it worked. It worked. We had exciting racing. Very, very exciting racing. The entire 2022 season was just fucking amazing. I really enjoyed it. because now before you had to stay back. You couldn't, your only way to pass was right here in this big long DRS zone, and then it was all about braking at the end, and are you going to make that corner? And now the guy's stuck behind you because he can't get up under your car anywhere close and stay there for an opportunity, because he can't get any downforce, and he's ruining his car because your car's fucking up all the air. And now with the new design and the air is going up and over the cars, it gives that guy a place to tuck into, like behind a semi truck, and he's not being, getting all that burbled air. And it was just exciting. It was fun. And I hope they do it. I hope they maintain that. It should be on the driver. And I like having the money cap. There's no reason why you can't have a money cap. Yeah, sure. That's the whole point about innovation and coming with something new within the money cap, using your brain to design a better whatever it is, okay? And not having NASCAR saying, yeah, well, if you can't run it, if no one else is, going to run it. That's bullshit. So you're just running. It's an organization. It's not benefiting the sport in any way. And the NHRA is the same way. So that's my opinionated opinion on drag racing. Any kind of racing, really. There's a reason you watch. I love watching No Prep Kings. I like the way they divided it up into the Great 8, because we know who those faster people are. You know what I mean? And you make them race each other. They go through more of their car use. They go through more parts and pieces because they get to participate in that Great 8. That's worth it. It's going to cost them way more than if they blow that motor up, it's going to cost them more than they're going to win. See? And so being one of the faster drivers isn't necessarily this fantastic benefit. And then in a no prep track, anything can happen at any time. And that's why I watch it. Everybody's different. All the cars are different. You know what I mean? Different years, totally different looks. I love the, 67 Chevys and that kind of shit. I love that. Okay. I had to get that off my chest. It's depressing that I didn't want to watch the NHRA this year. Other than to see if Brittany was going to set another record. That's what I was interested in, see if she was going to set another record.